Patty Christensen, hand CRPS lady, in the RV. Came down to Yuba Lake. I had so much fun. What was that, May, June, right around there? It was one of my first trips. And so I decided I wanted to do that again. So I came down. Now, the last time I came down, maybe it was like Memorial Day weekend. It was something where there was a ton of traffic. So I was like, all right, you know what? We'll just do, that's going to annoy me. We'll just do August and no holiday, no nothing. We won't do it on a weekend. We'll do it on a Thursday at like 2 p.m. And it'll be the interstate. No problem, right? Once again, me in my RV getting pulled off the interstate to discover the side roads of Santaquin because, I mean, it is... Okay, you have to understand. Utah used to be not as populated because everybody from California and all those would skip Utah to go to Colorado because Utah's got this reputation for being uptight, you know, all that kind of good stuff. It was kind of cool because then, you know, it wasn't that crowded. And so we all got used to driving very, very fast. Okay, Utah's famous for this, especially on the interstate. Psh, 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 go until you see the next car kind of fast. But what happened is, everybody started moving here. They finally figured it out, dang it. And so the population's grown a lot. I think probably half of California must have moved here during the COVID. But anyway, so now it's super crowded. But and I'm not going to blame the driving on the Californians. They tend to drive slow, frankly, a little slow. But no, it's the locals who are still in a little bit of denial. And so what will happen now, when I'm in my RV, and I understand it's a big box, it blocks view. I stay to the right if at all possible, you know, have lots of distance between me and the car in front of me, all that kind of good stuff, you know, just doing my part. But you can see ahead that it's solid cars. In fact, there was a time when there was signs about a wreck or construction telling everybody prepare to stop. And these idiots, and there's no other word than idiots, are literally going by me, accelerating when you can see the sea of brake lights in front. I don't know if they were going to be like Back to the Future and try to hit the magic speed and jump over. Where were they going? So they're and then they're having to slam on the brakes, blast, slam on the brakes. So it made it just such an awful drive. And, you know, and I'm in an RV, so it really sucks getting pulled off the freeway because they seriously smashed into each other. So we all had to get off the freeway and go noodling around. You know, I'm in an RV with hand CRPS. This is not fun. Anyway, I get here so excited. Well, guess what? It is the same as that starvation all over again. It was so windy that I could barely stand outside, literally that windy. And so I was like, great, we're going through this again. But, you know, there's some walks I like to go on. And so then I went out to the water. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know, I admit when I came before, it was really full. You have to understand these reservoirs are what give water to the farmers, right? Well, I guess farmers need a lot of water because I walked it out and it was literally 100 more steps from where the water used to be to where the water is now. So I think that's like 200 feet, you know. This huge lake is so small now. And I see some boats trying to use that boat ramp, but I'm pretty sure the boat rampness ends. I think they might be falling off. But the hard part's all the rocks, which when you're on a paddleboard and you're sitting on the edge of the water and you're trying to get in and out, you need some rocks or something, because if it's just mud, you just sink in, it's just awful. Well, the rocks are, 100 steps the other direction, 200 feet the other direction. So anyway, and of course it's calling for quite a bit of wind until the day I leave. That is my luck. I'm so upset about that. But the water's so low that I could literally almost walk around the whole thing. Now, yes, that would be miles, But, I could do it in maybe some water shoes. And, and if I get hot along the way, just walk out in the water, cool off, and keep going. So I may do that. Or like right now, it's nighttime and there's no wind outside. So it could be one where, the wind builds up in the afternoon kind of thing, but the morning will be nice. And if it is, then I'll go out on that. But this reservoir is so small now that I'll probably be able to just go all over. Yeah. I don't know if it's pretty safe for boats to be out here because all of a sudden there's like islands and peninsulas that were not here before. So anyway, I'll give more updates as the weekend progresses.